Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Naija podcast. This episode promises to be a spectacular one. You do not want to miss all of the scoops, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. My name is Becca Beckins.
And my name is Adinla. You know how we do it on the Naija podcast. Let's dive into this.
Alright, my people. So many relationships are on the rocks. And it may be speculations, it may be true. But one person that is on the hot seat today is Victor Boniface. So, Adinla, what do you think?
Social media has been buzzing about Victor Boniface, Norwegian girlfriend, that was said to have cut off their wedding because she found out that most of his properties were in his mother's name.
Wahala.
That is a big one. Now, some people are for, some people are against. Feminists are saying theirs, and everywhere is buzzing. But then, I think for Victor Boniface, maybe it is true, maybe not. But if it is true, I think he's only just trying to secure his future, because we've seen footballers go from grace to grass just on the simple decision of getting married. So it is Victor Boniface securing his own future, for me, if you say.
I agree. I don't know if I agree to that, but I agree to the fact that a lot of footballers have, gone from grace to grass because of the spouse that they chose to marry. And one person is Hakimi of PSG.
Yeah.
That his wife divorced him, and it was speculated that his properties, his cars, his houses were all in his mother's name. Even 80% of his salary was being paid to his mother as well. So he had literally no property to his name.
Would I say Victor Hakimi now in this case? Would I say Hakimi is the gay of football? Because Hakimi brought up all of this, and it looks like footballers are following suit. But then, I think we should also look at the side of these footballers. Like I said, they're trying to just secure their future and not fall into the same snare of people like Emmanuel Eto'o, the former Arsenal footballer. Yeah, that went from grace to grass just because of that single decision of getting married.
But Victor Boniface has come out to say that it's actually not true. He said, there's nothing happening in his marriage or his relationship. Nothing has hit the rocks. Nothing has been called off. Yeah. But will he even come out to say it's true?
Well, hopefully that's not true, as I said. But for me, I think the biggest heartbreak for Victor Boniface now is his deal that was cut off by AC Milan.
Wow.
Yeah, his deal was cut off because he failed the medicals. Because of the ACL injury.
That scar is actually big though.
Yeah, that's an ACL injury.
One thing that pains me is, as a nation, we're supposed to lift up our own when we're down.
Exactly.
But all over social media, people were chastising him, ridiculing him. Yeah. Maybe because he's a social media personality and he's very loud. So a lot of people were like, it's good for you. You don't need to take care of yourself.
On social media. But then I think people that condemned him initially didn't know the real gist behind it. They just felt somehow we failed the medicals, but then when they saw the picture of his that knee,
but he's been playing well even with that injury, though.
Well, but for AC Milan, they feel his performance will be affected with that injury.
Yeah, he'll be more on the bench than
So that is what I feel is the real heartbreak for him, bigger than the whole relationship.
But if this was actually true, though, then I have to give kudos to mothers, hey, because if you think about it, Nigerian mother-in-laws can either make or marry your relationship or your union, and in this case they are saving their sons, because on the streets of X, formerly known as Twitter, a lot of people have a lot to say.
And their sons are getting wiser as well, so it's all good.
So I'm gonna be reading some tweets now, right? This guy said, ladies, always check documents before you sign marriage papers. Prevention is better than divorce. Another person said, hey, if the marriage scatter, she go dey drag with the mama. Question of the day, I beg.
But then, did you see that lady that was dragged on social media? Because she said the woman, that's Victor Boniface's fiancée, she actually dodged the bullet. Yeah, she was being dragged on social media. But in my own opinion, I feel if this whole thing is true, because Victor Boniface said that's not true, but then if it was true, I think it was Victor Boniface who actually dodged the bullet.
But some people can say she dodged the bullet because Victor Boniface is a mommy's boy.
But then
you don't want to marry a mommy's boy.
I think Victor Boniface dodged the bullet, because if this woman is actually cutting off this wedding because of Victor Boniface's properties being in his mother's name, then she's actually coming for the properties. Don't you think?
It's 50-50. Oh, we don't know. She may be with him because of love. She may be with him because of the money. It may be collabo.
Me, I think it's because of the property.
I think it's collabo. I mean, Davido said it now. Love is sweet, but when money enter, love is sweeter.
Case, but when property enter, love is sweet.
Hey, little do we know about the situation. Allegedly. Moving on, let's talk about something a lot lighter where love is thriving. So it's raining babies left, right, and center. Toke Makinwa, Jukes and Priscilla, Prudence and Peterson, gospel united couple. They're so beautiful. It's raining babies, and I have to say congratulations to all of them. So much to talk about, but let's start with Priscilla. JP 2025. Now them all 2025. From beginning to the end. How many weddings? 4 weddings, 5 weddings?
2025 and beyond.
And beyond. Yeah. Congratulations to them, by the way. But let's talk about how when they gave birth, they opened an Instagram page for their son Rakim. In less than 24 hours, the page got over 110,000 followers. As of today that I'm speaking, it is 192,000 followers. And I'm like, this is a child that you people have not seen his face.
That doesn't even know what social media, yet people are waiting already. That's big.
Wait, me, I'm not even applauding anybody that is following that page. See that you like Hamebo. Do you like Hamebo, or you're just genuinely happy? What's the answer to that question?
Let's say that baby is blessed, because why?
Love. Love.
That's a whole lot.
It's a lie. It's
a big brand deal. Wow.
True.
You remember Tiwa Savage's baby, the Pampers deal? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
This is something similar.
Even though una like Amebo, una like Amebo. And moving on from that, congratulations are in order to Toke Makinwa. Just welcome her baby Yaya. For that, I'm super excited.
But then Nigerians, can't we just say congratulations and move on?
Keep it moving.
Though, does it actually have to end in a debate? Some for, some against. This is serious. Wow.
Everyone is saying, oh, Toke Makinwa is a feminist. She stood against men. She spoke against union. Oh, she's a divorcee. Who is her baby daddy? She had a baby out of wedlock. Who are you to judge? And I think one person that really pissed me off was Solomon Bucci. He said, oh yeah, he's happy that she's in her 40s. And oh, he's glad she has had a child, or she was pregnant as of when he shot that video. But he as a Christian, he's saying that why should she thank God? Why is she thanking God when she's having a child out of wedlock? And I'm like, you don't know the thoughts of God. You don't know his ways.
You know his plans.
God has literally given her heart desires. Your assistant Jesus, you are the only one that has been seated at the right hand of the Father. Hey, now only you sit down beside Jesus. They tell us what Jesus they think. And I was like, what core audacity is that to tell somebody who is serving God on her own not to thank God because she's having a child out of wedlock?
Well, I think everybody has a reason to thank God. I'm Roberts, thank God when you don't get caught. Prostitutes thank God when you don't get pregnant and when you don't get infected by disease.
Oh my God.
But then to me, I think Toke Makinwa put herself in this spot because you know how she talks about being a feminist and all of that. There was a video trending on social media the other time where somebody played a video of her talking about she doesn't care about marriage. And another interview when she was, I think, about 35 or so, she was saying if she finds someone who is ready to take her in as a 5th wife, she's ready to accept that. So she has already put herself in that spot where people think they have a say. Now coming out with the baby is like, oh, did you find that man that's ready to make you the
Can I ask you a question? The way you thought when you were in your early 20s, is it the same way you're thinking now?
So you think situations...
Of course, life and experiences make you better. So the way she's thinking now in her 40s is entirely different from how she thought as a new divorcee or someone being on the streets. And now she has even said she has found love.
So she has seen life from a different
perspective. So who are we to judge if everybody sins differently and learns from their experience?
That's true.
My advice to you Nigerians, say your congratulations.
Move.
Every malam with your own kettle.
Yeah.
Alright, Adela. So we talked about speculations, we talked about love. Now it is time for us to give them facts. Let's go to the shore of political wins. So a lot has been happening in the health sector again and again and again, and there's really big news in the health sector.
Yeah, that's true. That's true because recently the federal government of Nigeria, led by President Tinubu, actually kicked off the distribution of 1,653 solar-powered cold chain units. What about $11 million? That is a whole lot.
That's big.
And this is supposed to go around the 6 geopolitical zones, and already some part of those units are available in Abuja. Do you know what that means? That means better storage in the health sector for vaccines. Wow, that's like.
Let me actually expatiate on that. So a lot of rural areas that lack, great supply of electricity have vaccines spoiling, being thrown away. And with this new solar powered freezers, vaccines will be stored properly. There will be no wastage of medications. And I think this is a spectacular.
That's true. Let me take you to a detailed distribution across the 6 geopolitical zones. For the northwest, it is 448 units. For the southwest,
Wow.
it is 343 units. For the north central, it is 308 units. For the south, it is 221 units. For the southeast, it is 205 units. And for the northeast, it is 128 units. And the sweet part of this is that in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, 525 units of this has arrived already. This is mad.
That's actually amazing. I love the fact that 525 units has been distributed in Abuja. Now they enjoy. No spoiling of vaccines, no wastage of medication. One more thing that I'm even thinking about is how, a lot of people actually donate their spermatozoa. There's electricity supply for you to, preserve your eggs and preserve your spermatozoa. And also, that is just the tip of the iceberg. There is, the best part of this news as well. Guess what? There will be major spare parts that will be available for these solar-powered freezers. And also, there will be 10 years of maintenance of these freezers as well. And temperature monitoring system is also going to be in place. So this is not just a one-off. It is a sustainable temperature monitoring system that will be, pivotal and vital for everybody that wants to, store their vaccines, preserve their medications, and your eggs as well.
So from the Japan involvement in Nigeria and electricity to using solar solutions to solve real problems in the health sector, it is very obvious that Nigeria is depending on
power supply,
to solve real problems. And then I think this is the win in the energy sector and also in the health sector. So this is a big boost for the Nigerian system.
Yes, to that. So we're going to be unpacking a major policy shift, moving on from the health sector to agriculture. So, our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the very first citizen of Nigeria, by the way, has
one.
Number one, Emilio Khan, Eya Khan. Did I get it right?
Yeah,
So, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has placed a 6-month ban on exporting or exportation of shea nuts. And, it has got everyone talking. And a lot of people are literally saying, is it going to be a win or a con for the citizens of Nigeria?
I think this is a positive one because if we look at it, Nigeria produces about 40% of what shea nuts you get. But the sad part of it is that we only have 1% of the global market of $6.5 billion. And this has to stop because that shows we are losing a lot. And again, for a country like Nigeria, we can be making a lot of money and can be improving on our factories and industry if we can maximize our potentials in production. Not always depending on let them go and process it and do it somewhere and bring it back. So we could be making a lot of money. We could be bringing a big boost in our industry if we allow all of these things to be used here.
So a lot of money is being lost by exporting. So when you export these shea nuts, the money you get in return is actually small. But when you produce these shea nuts and break them down to butter, oil, there's a lot of room for more jobs, more money, more value. And it's staying in Nigeria, so it's a cycle of, cause and effect. I plant my seed, I yield results.
Long-term and short-term benefit. Because if you look at this, Nigeria stands to gain about 300 million in a couple of months if properly managed. And that's just the beginning. If this is well managed, by 2027, that figure could go times 10. That is Nigeria will be making about $3 billion
$3 billion.
annually. So that is a whole lot.
Wow.
I think this is a positive move. This is a positive one. This is a big one.
So to expatiate more on what Adingla said, I'm going to tell you all about the hidden losses and missed potential with exporting shea nuts outside of Nigeria. So apparently, Nigeria produces around 350,000 metric tons of shea annually across 30 states. This is despite having, capacity to produce over 160,000 tons or metric tons of shea nuts. So when processors are running at just 35 to 50% capacity, this is due because of our export rate, and this needs to be reduced so that we can have about 90,000 metric tons slipped out each year, which is actually wrong. So we want to increase the number so that we can have more value within the shores of Nigeria. So what do we stand to gain if we, if this ban is executed on a longer term? Apparently, we're going to be securing raw materials, which means we would be boosting rural incomes, especially, since 90% of shea pickers and producers are women. So rural incomes goes on an all-time high, and women have a lot to benefit from, securing the bag, pluck it.
That's it.
And also, this supports industrialization, rural transformations, women empowerment, and expanding our global trade footprint. Win back to back to back.
Win, win, win. And this is actually going to engage our women. It's actually going to create employment and a lot. So it is also going to give us this kind of global alignment, or let me say regional alignment. Because if you look at this, Nigeria is not the first country to do this. Ghana did. Ghana, Mali, Burkina Faso
did, yeah.
Togo. So it is looking like this West African set. So we are aligning with this region and saying, okay, let's hold back our share raw materials so we can improve our industries, our factories, and we can improve our production.
You can just
and this is a lot. This is because it will even bring about development, improvement in our factories, in our industries, and then to give employment to our people. So that is a whole lot.
You can just tell that in Ghana, they actually are like the largest owners of cocoa. And you can tell from how very rich their chocolate is. That's actually what I wanted to say. So it's a win-win for Ghana, and like Nigeria tapping into that market as well.
But I think coming in for Nigeria now, it is going to be even more like a market opener, because coming in now with our newfound love with Brazil, this is our sweet relationship. This is going to bring us to that point where we can tap into the Brazilian market with our shea oil and shea butter. So this is a big one. This is massive.
I totally agree with that. So in short, there will be more jobs, entrepreneurship, opportunities, village-based processors will have new infrastructures in place to enable their work to be done easier and faster. Steady income, dignity, and long-term career paths in short. So hey, if you're in the rural area or urban areas, you can tap into this market if you want to venture into agriculture. Hey, I love this. So you cannot say that this regime hasn't, opened doors for youths to find what to do.
Honestly, I think this administration is doing well in creating jobs. That's take for me, because this will go a long way in solving this problem of there's no job, there's no opportunity. This is a huge one. It's just left for Nigerians to tap into it, and I think this is a welcome development.
All right, so to wrap things up, we're gonna give you some facts. Okay, so apparently we're preserving Nigeria raw materials for our own factories, and we stand to earn over $300 million now, and potentially $3 billion in the near future if we scale up.
We're also taking our trade. We're also aligning with our neighbors. That's Ghana, Mali,
Togo.
So we're also aligning with them to say, yeah, this thing you are doing, we love it, and we are also interested in this, and we're also ready to improve our own factories, our industries, by holding down our raw materials so it can be used here to improve our production.
And that's on period. That's all we have for you on today's episode. We'll be back next week. to do what we do, give you gist and give you all the facts in the political space. This is Naija Pulse Podcast with G-Smith for governance, for the culture, for the future.
I'm sure you enjoyed your ride with us. My name is Adela. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms.
On Instagram at Naija Pulse Podcast, on X at Naija Pulse Pod, on TikTok at Naija Pulse Podcast, and on YouTube. Do well to like, subscribe, and share at Naija Pulse Podcast. I remain your host, Becca Beckins, and we're signing out.
Bye.